Rural Heritage on RFD TV is brought to you by Rural Heritage Magazine, a bi-monthly magazine featuring articles about farming and logging with draft animal power, small-scale diversified family farming and homesteading, and other aspects of our rich rural heritage. Rural Heritage Magazine, borrowing from yesterday to do the work of today. For subscription information, please call 319-362-3027 or order online at www.ruralheritage.com.
Smile for Joe.
This horse's name is Foggy Bottom Floyd. Foggy Bottom Floyd is, his sire is Ridgewind Atheling Simon, and his mother is a John Hammond mare from up in New Hampshire named Cornish Morning Glory. So he's a rare bred horse. The mare will never have another one because she ruptured her pubis and she can't be bred again. So he's the only one of those. And this horse was bought by a supporter of Healing Harvest, and based on need and merit, he was granted to Sam Tackett, a biological woodsman here at Berea College. It will be potentially a stallion for the future to breed to the horses that are not related to Ike Sovereign, and will be in part of this operation along with Ben Burgess' stallion that's named Diamond M. Bandero. So these two young stud colts offer the potential for Berea College to go forward as a foundation, a breeding operation for the Suffolk breed forever. This horse is going to be what we would call a more typical Suffolk, in that he's going to be about 16 hands or maybe a little under. When this horse is mature at 5, he'll probably be as big around as he is tall. He'll probably be about 90 inches or better in girth, and won't be that tall at the withers. So that's a class. So he's a classic short, boxy Suffolk horse. He's also a dark liver chestnut, as you can see, right? Which is a nice color that we find is he's solid too, has no white hairs on him. So that's you know, it's sort of cosmetic, but you know, and he also, you know, but to see all the whorls, yeah. A lot of the gypsies used to think that the horses with a lot of the whorls and the relationship of the cowlick to the eye line has a lot to do with the horse's intelligence, and we think this is going to, well, we know from our experience, I know that these horses are really smart. They know how to get along. They learn what you are showing them very quickly. They're very willing to do whatever you want to do with them. They actually enjoy, you know, the human company and exchange. They're still horses. They still have fear-flight responses, not as much as most animals, most horses. I like to make the comparison of thoroughbreds. Thoroughbreds have been selected for about 500 years to accelerate the fear-flight response. Right. So you've been selecting horses for who could run the fastest. So therefore you're going to get real scary horses because you've been selecting them based on that flight response. This is the utter opposite. This is a horse that's been selected for 500 years for lack of flight response, for tolerance of all sorts of things without fear. So that's why they make the good farmer's working horse, a logger's horse. And of course, there's that other characteristic of the real low-set knee and the short cannon bone, so the horse has no action. It just barely picks its feet up off the ground in order to move. So it's very efficient. It doesn't have any unnecessary motion as part of what's required to travel, to move across the ground. And of course, I think along the way, because of, again, the isolated nature of the 500 years these horses were developed in Suffolk, England, they've collected, they've only bred horses that they got along with. The phenotype, the kindness, the willingness to please. So Suffolk horses are truly unique. I've had all breeds, you know. I've had them all, blacks and grays and bays and stock and feeded and all of them, and these horses are the easiest ones to get along with. It's like I told that Stephen Leslie guy in the book, why do you have Suffolk horses? Well, it's just laziness. You know, every time I go out to work a horse, I don't want it to be a rodeo. I like the easiest horse to deal with, and this is the easiest horse to deal with for me. The Suffolks have this extremely long muscle, though.
Right.
And it's extremely short cannon bone, and flat, clean hock, you know. And the cannon bone is so short in the front. In the Old English book, there's a book called The Horse and the Pharaoh, and in it says that when you dissect a corpse, a skeleton, that the actual marrow part of the bone is less on the Suffolk than other horses, and that the bone is of a quality of ivory. They're really a dense, strong horse. We were talking about that last night, you know, about our horses. We have never heard a horse working it. We might have galled them, scraped them, scratched them, but we've never actually injured or lamed a horse working it. They hurt themselves at liberty, you know, they hurt themselves playing like kids.
Right.
But we never hurt one working them.
Right.
Yeah. That's Foggy Bottom Floyd, named for Floyd County, Virginia, where he was bred by Carl Whittaker.
2452. How old is this horse, Ben?
He's
22 months.
almost 3.
No, almost
2.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah. On October 22nd, he'll be
34 months.
34. Yeah.
34 months, okay.
He's a long 2-year-old, almost 3. This horse was bred by Matt Mounds in Alberta, Canada. His sire is Sawilla Zeus. That was bred by Art Lewis. That's what Sawilla means, is Art Lewis spelt backwards. And his mother is a mare named Berlin Cindy, who goes back to the Colony Gordon line through Tom Bombadil. And the Sawilla Zeus line goes back to an imported horse from England named Kingsland Royal that was brought into this country in the early 80s by John Bletham from Portland, Oregon, and so his bloodlines go back to that. All of our Suffolk horses go back to English because that's where all the Suffolks come from. And this horse also knows nothing other than some good manners and handling, and he was granted by Healing Harvest to Ben Burgess as again a compliment and continuation of the Suffolk breeding program for these men individually, but of course Berea College too. Berea College has 2 mares of their own, Suffolk registered Suffolk mares.
Right.
One of which is bred to Ike Sovereign, and the other one is bred to another Amish Suffolk horse that's here in the county. But I don't need to be in the way of this horse. This horse needs to be in the eyes of your viewers.
So if you had a coming 3-year-old Percheron, let's say, and you had plans on using it as a workhorse, you would start off ground driving it quite a bit. You would have been ground driving it by then, but you wouldn't be planning on putting it on any weight for a while yet, and you wouldn't be taking it in the woods until you did an awful lot with it before that. This horse be getting ready probably quicker than that?
Yes, he'll put him in a round pen and get him used to responding to his body, put a bit in his mouth, get him used to responding to the bit, then he'll ground drive him, and then it won't be long. This horse could be pulling out small firewood, or he could be gone in on smaller logs. I mean, this horse is weighing about 1550. He's big enough to start doing some work. Mainly, we just want his joints to close.
Right.
So that he knows, so that he'll stand up to the effort.
Right.
But I wouldn't be surprised before the winter's out, this horse is in harness, pulling some wood out and helping them pay for his keep.
Would this be your first breeding stud, Ben? Yep. Now, it's one thing to say that you want every horse to earn its keep. So if you have a stallion, it should work. But it also makes for a better stallion, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. He's the smartest horse we got, and should be the strongest horse. So he's got every capacity needed to do everything we do. As long as you make him mine and get him off of it. You know, the stallions, they suffer from this syndrome called 3 brains disease. They got 2 between the legs and 1 between the ears, and we all know majority rules. So we got to get him over that 3 brains disease. And the thing to do that is a collar and sweat.
Yeah.
When that little bead of sweat comes out from that collar and runs all the way down his leg and comes off the bottom of his foot right there, that's when you're starting to train him. Once that bead of sweat reaches the ground, then you're making a horse out of him. pretty headed thing too. I like to see it.
They're both gorgeous heads.
Yeah.
They both got just gorgeous heads.
To be old workhorses, they do got a pretty head.
Oh yeah, yeah, smart eyes.
Yeah, kind eyes.
Real smart, yeah, very kind eyes.
Well, I'll miss him. He's been in my front yard his whole life, but I won't miss him long, believe me.
You can put something else there.
I'll put something else will go there. As soon as I can, yep. Something else will go there. Yes, sir. I can't wait to see you and Hornets doing something. Yes, sir. And he's just got a 2-year-old mouth. You can see the baby teeth on him here.
All right, thanks,
good.
Ben. Yep, I'm good, thank you.
You know, these Suffolks are not perfect. We do have issues we have to deal with. We look for parrot mouth, overbite. We look for horses that interfere and forage. We got to make sure that the horses are able to fully function. We do discover that most of them have this endearing characteristic of heart. They really try hard. That's a blessing.
Sometimes when people talk about endangered species, you get the feeling that this particular species is really fragile or something. There's nothing less fragile than a Suffolk horse. But the species is fragile.
Right. It's the culture that's fragile.
Okay.
It's the fact that people aren't investing their lives into giving these horses a place in the future. It's like Ben Burgess says, you know, the horses are extremely rare. 60 born every year in North America, all of North America, Canada, but I wish there were 60 biological woodsmen born every year, because that's the missing thing is the men that are capable of doing this. And this place and this story that you're telling is probably one of the best opportunities for that to go forward. You know, with the help of Healing Harvest, you know, we just want to be cultural enablers. We want to, first of all, continue to do the work so we can prove that it is possible, and continue to support it by the way we do, by using the Healing Harvest 501c3 tax status as a write-off where people can donate money to us and write it off half of it. It's a real honor to be able to compete with the government for revenue. You have to prove that what you're doing is for the public good, but it isn't being provided by the government. So that's how we get to compete with the government for revenue, and we've been doing this since 1999. Healing Harvest started with a Ford Foundation grant. It was a great effort to get this started, and to keep it legit and keep it going forward has been not easy. And it's not a huge organization, it's a small group, but it's influenced hundreds of people's lives directly. And I think the spin-off of their influence will be exponential. We don't know how beneficial it will be over the long term.
Right.
That's how this all got started. It was about 15 years ago. I was invited here to be a consultant for Berea College by Clint Patterson, a very progressive, forward-thinking forester who at the time was just a bachelor's of forestry and had read something about me and was curious. And then Wendell, of course, suggested that I connect with the people at Berea, and they invited me here. And then eventually I became a consultant for them and wrote about what my vision of what to do with their forest is. And this is the very first formal step of that actually taking place, is these biological woodsmen being hired to actually do the work. So this is a culmination of 15 years of work on my part. This does not happen fast.
Right,
you know,
You're working with bureaucracy.
Yes.
You're working with mindsets. You got to change them.
Institutions.
Right, exactly.
You know, it takes a while.
Yeah.
Even though we've been lucky to charm Lyle and Laurel, the president and his wife, there's a whole lot of other people
We give up our lives to be here. You know, Ben had a successful business where he lived locally, and he's got family roots there.
Right.
You know,
sacrifice.
I was getting along pretty well at home, and I've got.
In other words, if he gets along with his wife, he don't need
home.
to do nothing. His wife makes great money.
And well, she does now, but that's irrelevant.
Yeah, okay.
But
yeah,
you know, we gave up our businesses,
Right.
and our local culture and our families, and to come here because we believe in what we're doing. And it's a great opportunity for us in the world to show what we can do.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you know, my phone still rings, and Ben's does too, for people who want work done at home, and we don't have people to replace us from where we come from yet.
Right.
But hopefully someday we will.
And you guys are farming with horses too now.
Oh yeah, we put up.
Did you get any video of them actually making hay? Or
No, I was afraid they would get me to help.
Well, yeah.
I didn't want to go.
I forgot he grew up in the damn country.
I didn't want to
him,
go.
could he
He asked me if I
stack
could stack hay, and I can stack hay pretty
That's
good, but
Yeah, these horses, they made their own hay right over here on the Mitchell farm.
Put about 500 bales up.
That's what all this is, sitting around. And, you know, they really are just doing that to prove to those people, the other people that are involved, how capable these horses are. These men are not about idealism in the sense of talk only.
right,
This is they practice what they preach.
right.
On every level, at every step.
In fact, they practice more than they preach. They show
do.
by example. They
They
do
do,
it. They
yeah.
don't just. They don't talk about it necessarily.
And we're thankful for Rural Heritage to share this with the rest of the world. Because especially now in this COVID time of the pandemic, you're going to be able to share culture out there with people that won't be able to experience it personally. And that's a big gift for all of us, too. We really appreciate what you're doing.
Hi, I'm Joe Mishka of Rural Heritage Magazine. I'm on location of one of the many events we cover that celebrates our rural heritage. If you enjoy our show, check out our magazine, where you'll learn more about the people that blend the past with what works today. You can save almost 20% off the newsstand price by subscribing at ruralheritage.com or chat with us at 877-647-2452. That's toll-free, 877-647-2452.
We always had a team. We rode wagon and this and that, and all my uncles logged, and Grandpa had a sawmill. I said, I'm going to cut some timber. I went up there and helped my Uncle Jack pull out some timber to build a house. Took a little old pair of saddle horses, 14-2. We pulled that timber out and I was hooked. Went and traded them in on a big pair of black mules that was pure runaways, just outlaws. Took an old farm tractor and drug the tops where we logged to the landing. And I'd take them mules, couldn't drive them loose, they'd run off. I'd go to the woods and get a log, bring it back to landing. I'd hook to a top or something to hold them and drive them back to the woods. And worked them that way 2 or 3 weeks, just hard as we could go. Finally got them tuned down enough we could handle them. And when I sold them mules, I drove them up in the woods and throwed the lines down. Walked over there and cut a tree. And started at the mules we saw, you know, just swamped the road in there at the tree, drove up there and backed them, turned around, backed them into the log.
Yeah.
Started to drive off. The man said, I've seen enough, I'm going to buy them. I said, you're going to have to wait till I finish my load of logs. I got to load my truck. But they'll all come to it if you'll work them. I ain't going to say that I can work all of them, but somebody can work it. There's a person for every horse and a horse for every person. Come up.
Probably better just go and cut them up there, wouldn't it?
Whoa. About too fat. Whoop. Yee. Yee. Whoop. Whoop. Back. 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 Ooh. Back. Dude, come up. Come up. Come up. Ooh. Whoa. Come up. Come up.
Thanks for joining us today at Rural Heritage and RFD TV, where we borrow from yesterday to do the work of today. This program is available for purchase. To order your copy, please call 319-362-3027 or visit www.ruralheritage.com. Rural Heritage is a bi-monthly magazine dedicated to draft animal farming and logging, as well as other aspects of our rich rural heritage. It is published by Mishka Press, which also offers a complete line of back-to-the-land books, DVDs, and calendars. Call or write for a catalog or subscription information, or visit our website at www.ruralheritage.com.